Hey guys, Rinji here. And there has been Twitter troubles once again. What variety this time around? Well, the mainstream YouTube content creator variety. And what do I mean by mainstream? Well, someone that has millions of subscribers on YouTube and is quite popular among certain circles of horror and true crime enthusiasts. What I'm talking about? Well, I'm talking about Wendigoon. One of my one of my favorite creators on YouTube. That's why I actually decided to make this video. Normally, I wouldn't cover someone that popular because I deal with the nichest of niches, and it's usually not in my ballpark to cover creators like this, but when it's someone I have an interest in, when it's someone I actually enjoy watching, then why not? And if that trouble to that creator actually happens on Twitter, then more so I'm inclined to make a video about this. So you might be wondering, well, you're probably not wondering, because if you watch Wendigoon, you're probably aware of this recent quote-unquote controversy and drama. Well, it all started with this one particular Twitter account just saying BS on Twitter, as they usually do. And sometimes posts like this just kind of blow up for no reason whatsoever. But between you and me, it's sometimes bought. These people sometimes post in order to show you that they're in the right, whereas they're just unhinged and weird. So there's this user called Kira Ann that had this to say about Wendigoon. I just thought Wendigoon was an incel, and I didn't realize he was a fully blown neo-Nazi who loves Kyle Rittenhouse. Like, now I'm genuinely scared, redacted, of what he might do. Oh, I don't know what he might do. I mean, I guess he'll do the same thing he did throughout the years, and that's continue making content while staying out of politics that you people try to consistently drag him to. And by that they really mean to drag him. They absolutely want to make sure that Wendigoon is a bigot behind the scenes, because the guy is outspokenly, well, not really outspokenly, but has mentioned being religious and having libertarian views, which are often construed as right-wing views by a lot of terminally online people, especially on Twitter. And due to posts like this, they kind of decided to drag out everything about Wendigoon that might be construed as bigotry, like following Kyle Rittenhouse and following his very public process. And these people decided to talk about this en masse. But if you think only lefty people decided to go after Wendigoon, you will be wrong, because rightoids decided to do the same thing. Because neither of these sides, especially when it comes to both political extremes, are right in the head. So let's take a look at some of these responses. But first, here's Wendigoon addressing the recent controversy. Some rude and slanderous things have been said about my character, and I just want to clarify that I'm not right-wing or bigoted or anything. Besides, thankful for my opportunity to make goofy YouTube. The only thing I believe is in loving God and my wife, which kind of is funny that the previous poster that actually blew up this whole thing said that Wendigoon is an incel. I guess everyone's an incel, even if they're married. This kind of is become just like a buzzword, like the P word. You can just call these things, anyone, as an insult, and these words have completely lost all sense of meaning. But then people started responding to this post with quote retweets, and as I said, both rightoids and leftoids being unhinged. Imagine throwing a salvo of your right-wing facts to try to appease leftists. How is saying that you're not a bigot throwing anyone under the bus? It's insane. But, you know, people will misconstrue your words in all kinds of ways in order to make a point and make you look bad. So this is right on point. And there's another one. Why were you in a video recreating MLK assassination with this guy who says you're a friend, in quotation marks of his, and makes these kinds of videos? And there's time you made fun of natives for not liking you using the Wendigo for your for your name. Here's one of these videos that this supposed friend of theirs makes. Old man pee smacks climate protesters, showing this unhinged killer that that shot protesters, being memed to hell and back. It was pretty funny. Not the event itself, but the following memery that ensued. It's insane what kind of things they try to drag him for, like saying, "Why does this guy say that you're his friend? Like, disavow right now, or otherwise you're a bigot." More. I'm definitely not right wing. It just so happens that most of my views are right wing. Be a man, LMAO. They really construe some of his views, which are, again, not very well known to people because Wendigoon oftentimes stays away from all kinds of politics because he's interested in putting out interesting content for you on YouTube. Anything else is superficial, and what you try to paint him as is just as superficial. So, again, it's also weird that all kinds of right-wing beliefs, as these people call them, are misconstrued as evil and unforgivable in today's political climate. They will try to get on your case for even the slightest hint of having that sort of thing. Even though these views that Wendigoon is known for, and again, mind you, his views aren't all that public because he stays out of political topics, are of the classic libertarian variety. And if you want to know what that is exactly, you can Google it. I'm not here to give you a political lesson. This is a drama channel about weird stuff people say on YouTube and Twitter and all kinds of other places. But let's continue. I just hope Wendigoon realizes that the lip part of his audience is a ticking time bomb. No point in appealing to them, like when he cacks out on scripture to not offend people. I think it's less that he, as you put it, quote unquote, cucks out, and it's more that he doesn't want any of that dumb stuff in his career because it's completely not relevant to the videos he produces and what he generally talks about. So him defending himself from unreasonable people is is not cocking out, and it's not catering to weird left-wing audience that he might have. And mind you, this is Twitter's opinion. This is like the most unreasonable Twitter opinions. But when I went to Reddit, and I don't often go to Reddit because it's extremely boring, Wendigoon's official Reddit had this discussion about this particular explanation of his as well. And the people, mostly left-leaning people in the comments in that particular Reddit thread, were all the more reasonable. It's always the extremes of Twitter and these people that try to make sure that they're well known to you as the most unhinged individuals you can find online. And yeah, do you think it ended with this? No, it didn't. It just got worse progressively. Not right-wing or bigoted, yet you're falling right with the wing accounts. Yeah, okay. Follows Kyle Rittenhouse and follows the social media platform Parler. I didn't know it's a huge crime following things you don't like, and I didn't know following these people decided your political views, but what do I know? And of course, there's some racism included in these as well. White men do anything but redacted listen. What does that have to do with anything? I don't know. But casual racism against white people is always trending on Twitter. You misgender trans people if they're not good, and you are using a name native communities have asked you not to use because it's disrespectful. Finding out you disrespect native and trans people alone is yikes. Ain't got redacted with your religion. It's how you treat people. And you might be wondering what this misgendering is of a trans person. And you might be wondering what this disrespect towards native community as well. Wendigo is a creature that's very important to Native Americans, and it's a mythological folklore sort of monster. And a lot of people, especially on Twitter again, think they have ownership of this kind of concept. And the fact that Wendigoon decided to use the name Wendigo as his name is a huge disrespect to them, apparently. And he's bigoted, and yikes for that. And the other thing, what is the trans creator, quote unquote, that Wendigoon decided to misgender? Well, the explanation comes in the next tweet. Notice how you said trans people instead of naming the person he misgendered, in quotation marks. It was Christian, by the way, because if you had said it was Christian, the guy who said he only transitioned to take advantage of lesbian women, your point would have completely fallen apart. I noticed. And yeah, if you know something about Christian, is that Christian will do anything to get laid, and pretending to be a woman, which he does, is something that Christian has himself admitted to doing. So there's absolutely no ambiguity there towards what Christian is thinking and was doing with that sort of thing. So yeah, once again, dragging everything out in the open to try to make Wendigoon look as bad as possible, while completely omitting the fine details of what he said and how he said it and who he said it about. This is how character assassination works for the most part. You can just kind of lie about people, misconstrue what they said, and make sure that everyone else knows on social media so they continue to spread misinformation. And when people like this come up to actually clarify everything, do you think they get noticed? No, all of that stuff gets buried under assumptions, slander, and libel. But let's continue. Whatever you say, oh, here's a Palestinian flag moment. Him following Kyle Rittenhouse again, and Wendigoon saying that the moment it was announced not guilty on all counts, essentially, you know, here's him showing that Kyle Rittenhouse, who in a very public trial, one of the most public trials in recent history, got found innocent on all counts because his case was a clear one of self-defense. But there's a lot of people online that do not think this was the right judgment, even though they could have seen the whole process going on, and they could have seen the evidence, even video evidence of everything that helped Kyle get away scot-free from all of this. But since these people like to live in their own heads, and their visions of reality, their version of reality is only the one that should apply to everybody, they will think that Kyle is still this weird right-wing murderer that goes around shooting people he doesn't like. We'll not go through more of that, but they will continuously point this out, that Wendigoon followed Kyle Rittenhouse and followed his trial as well. Moving on. And here's a nice summary of everything. Every now and then, a certain type of terminally online bigots find out that Wendigoon is Christian, pro-gun, and holds incredibly moderate lib-right views, and act if they discovered him grooming a minor or something. That is kind of like it is, but you know, knowing Twitter, knowing how these people can be, I bet they would just make up lies about him that are worse than this. We'll just have to wait and see what else comes around. So these people just get exposed for their BS. Made the mistake of looking at quote retweets and among other degenerates found someone hating him because he talked about Unit 731. Was gonna defend this guy, but someone pointed out that to me his channel heavily features anti-Japanese blood libel, so yeah, let the commies tear him apart. He deserves it. Yes, because he dared to make videos about the horror of the Japanese Unit 731. That means he's a leftoid communist. Insane. Your username is literally anti-indigenous, you redacted idiot. Bro. Why are you people like this? You think culture appropriation is actually a thing in most cases, like Wendigoon stole something from somebody and not just use the name because it's cool. With a interesting concept behind it. But again, that's bigotry in 2023, ending 2023. What a joyous year it has been. Seriously. Moving on. Another Palestinian plus communist flag moment. Follows this person, by the way. Wendigoon is right-wing AF. Don't let whatever this tweet is fool you. Hot take: Hawaiians were done dirty and deserve their own ethno state from away from everyone. Can we white people have the same? If only. Again, insane. Just for following certain people on Make sure to wipe your mouth after you finish sucking off Kyle. Redacted house. They really like to bring this up. People aren't slandering him for being religious or married. They are doing that too. Don't be lied to, because they really are doing that as well. People are slandering him for supporting the white supremacist Kyle Rittenhouse and having some part in those ideals. No one gives a redacted if this man loves Jesus. Like, don't come after him for that. 30 moment here. But you know, you saying that him being slandered is justified. Do you know what the word slander actually means? Because I don't think you do. Again, the Kyle Rittenhouse thing is just gonna be brought up until you're sick of it. Wendigoon himself is not a problem. The problem is his community that has become progressively more right-wing with time, and that is explicitly because he didn't want to get political. And this is gonna be a whole rant, so be prepared for it. Wendigoon is a part of the centrist and quotation marks apolitical people who just end up attracting right-wing bigots because they don't want to take a solid stance against them. You don't want everything to be political, but my point is proven just by looking at his comments and quote retweets. And yes, obviously the fact that he's a devout Christian from the South plays into this. Obviously we're gonna see this as a red flag, and the actual Christians who are right-wing are going to identify with you. This is why I don't feel good about being a Wendigoon fan anymore. Generally online reasoning. To be honest, I feel that way about a lot of other creators I like. None of them are truly problematic. It's just the fact that they're going to make content or be something that can be potentially attract right-wing people and refuse to take a stand against them. Because right-wing people, as we all know, are bigots. There's no nuance to any of that. And Wendigoon is problematic because he doesn't want to take a stance. But it doesn't matter what stance he would take. Even if he defends himself in the most reasonable ways possible, you people go after him, just like you're doing right now. And then this person continued. Then you're going to inevitably foster a community full of bigots. And I don't think every single Wendigoon fan is bigoted. I just think there's enough of them for people like me not to feel comfortable calling themselves fans anymore. Bro, sis, whatever you are, Wendigoon creates true crime and horror content. His political leanings, whatever they may be, have no effect on his content. And you participating in the fandom that you think is right wing is your own problem. But based on on what you say here, I think you're delusional, and I think you're misconstruing a political people with bigots because they don't want to take stances on nonsense. A lot of people in their lives, those especially that aren't online, do not give a damn about politics, left wing, right wing, centrist, whatever. They just want to live their lives, and I imagine a lot of people that are Wendigoon fans come in just for his videos. They aren't here for the smashing, groundbreaking political commentary that he won't offer. They aren't waiting for the next Trump bad video, Orange Man evil, or whatever lefty stances they are currently. They just want to enjoy his content. What you're saying is not only paranoid, it's just completely off the cuff delusional. And then there's more. Being aggressive against neutral parties makes your side look like the bad guys, you know? That's completely true, especially if they make nonsensical arguments like this. I'm not being aggressive, wholly redacted. I'm just raising concern about his community. I don't care if he's neutral himself. I just don't like that he allows bigots to be in his community and make us feel unwelcome. Yeah, I'm quite sure Wendigoon loves all of his bigots dearly, and he kisses them goodnight every single day before he goes to sleep. Check yourself. Seriously. There is more. You are right-wing and you're trying to make cowards. I'm neutral path. Sadly, it's not an uncommon thing to do. Many that hold right-wing beliefs pretend they are middle of the road and hold it as a paper shield, thinking it will protect them from certain kinds of criticism. Yeah, just make a completely unsubstantiated claim about him. Because neutrality, wanting to stay out of this minefield, this warpath, is just secretly being a bigot with right-wing beliefs. Oh, you people need to get out more. I know winter is coming for a lot of you and it's gonna get colder, but maybe the cold air will actually, make you see reality in different colors than this black and white BS that you guys are propagating. I really wish you would change. Moving on. I don't know if Wendigoon actually has ties to the Boogaloo boys. Apparently he disavowed them, which is probably true. But this is an incredibly weird response to people asking if you're a white nationalist because of ties to a white supremacist terrorist organization. Saying I'm not a white nationalist in response to being accused of being a white nationalist is weird. You're denying it, therefore you must be that. And if you're wondering about this Boogaloo boy's connection to him, this is something Wendigoon himself actually explained over 3 years ago. But again, these people will try to scratch at everything, like every single potential wound and scab to make it bleed again. And here's what he had to say about this whole Boogaloo thing. Alright, so I'll go ahead and make my official statement here because better to come straight from me. Over 2 years ago, I was among the first to be using the term Boogaloo. Originally, it was a rendition of Che Guevara's. Not that he was a good person by any means, because he wasn't. A code word for revolution. I have always been a proponent of freedom and liberty. Again, libertarian views. I believe in the divine rights of every human, and therefore aspects of self-independence are important to me. So I began using the word in a small settings and then decided to make a meme page using the name as no one had done so yet. To give you an idea, my name was Boogaloo Boy and several have pointed to me as being the original and starting the Hawaiian shirt thing, as I've just always wore those shirts. However, as the term became mainstream, more ideas began to come into the group. Everything from Antifa members to fascists wanted it on it, and the original idea became muddled and broken, which is true. I always meant it as for the people thing, yet it quickly became something else. To give you an idea, I've watched the same news stations call it a far leftist movement and far right movement in the same day. Yes, this also happened. It became something I didn't want to be a part of, and so I left. I dropped the name, took a break, and decided to talk about things I enjoy, like conspiracies and movies, under the new title Wendigoon. It was something I acknowledged, but I'm not a part of anymore for what it became. Some of my current followers and friends were with me then, but I'm not part of that anymore. So as you can see, a clear stance on that. But do these people on Twitter care? Bet your sweet bottom they don't. And that's not everything. Way to throw your right-wing fans under the bus for defending you. Again, leftoids and rightoids, all the same. All weird. Lastly, don't bound Wendigoon. They won't stop until you're gutless and gay. And I'm quite sure, since this drama is still quite fresh in a lot of people's minds, there's like hundreds, if not thousands, of more of comments like this. But I could be sitting here all day explaining how unhinged they are. But you have common sense, you probably already see that. And I don't need to over-explain, as I already have in this whole video. But, you know, if you're a Wendigoon fan, if you're reasonable and normal, you probably don't hold either of these views. You're just enjoying his content for what it is, and do not give a damn about any of his political leanings, as vague as they are. And I hope you stay like that, because Wendigoon needs more fans like you, and not quote-unquote fans like these. And I bet most of them don't even watch his videos, they're just in on the latest Twitter drama. But you know, for right now, that's everything, and I hope to see you on the next one.